Hola, me llamo LGDD Bobadora. ¿Sí siente bien? Or should I say, are you all feeling good? If yes, then please lend me your ears for I am going to take you to España or the land of rabbits. Welcome to Spain, a place where you can find beautiful and captivating sceneries. España, or the Kingdom of Spain, is a country primarily located to the southwestern Europe with parts of territory in the Atlantic Oceans and across the Mediterranean Sea. The capital city is Madrid. But did you know that España or Spain is the only country who has a physical border to the African country? Yes, it is true. Spain is the only country who has a physical border to the African country. And their national anthem is La Marcha Real, or the Royal March. And the nationality that is present there in the country is Spanish, and some other are foreign nationalities. The people there is called the Spanish or the Spaniards. And the government that is present there is the unitary parliament and the constitutional monarchy, which is headed by King Felipe VI. And their prime minister is Mr. Pedro Sanchez. The land area of España is around 505,990 kilometers squared. Their currency is euro, and the language spoken there is Spanish. And almost around 47,1,603,418 is the total counted as of 2022 of the population of Spain. Their major religion is Christianity. And Spain also is the birthplace of the second most spoken language around the world, which is Spanish. Spain is the world's 52nd largest country and Europe's fourth largest country. It is smaller than France, and Mount Teide is the highest mountain peak in Spain, and it's the third largest volcano in the world from its base. Spain is a transcontinental country having a territory in both Europe and Africa. Spain has 179 islands, both within its territorial borders and its overseas possessions. The Spanish national anthem has no words. The Sagrada Familia in Barcelona is still not finished. So we all know Sagrada Familia because this has been featured during one of Catherine Bernardo's movie, which is Hello, Love, Goodbye. And Spain is the only European country to have a physical border with an African country. Madrid has the oldest restaurant in the world, and Spain was the world's first global empire. Flag of Spain. So the lively colors are a tribute to the values that the country and its people hold dear. The red represents strength and valor, while the yellow symbolizes generosity. The coat of arms pays homage to the original kingdoms that united to form Spain in the 15th century. In the coat of arms, the castle represents the royal family of Castel, while the lion represents the kingdom of Leon. Additionally, the link chains represents the kingdom of Navarre, while the pomegranate fruit symbolizes the Moorish kingdom of Granada. Presented here are some of the Spanish basic language phrases. First is buenos dias, which means good morning, buenas tardes, which means good afternoon, buenas noches, which means good evening, and hola, me llamo Juan. This is used when you introduces yourself, and me llamo is when you directly say your name, and como te llamas is when you are asking what is your name. Mucho gusto, which is translated to mean like nice to meet you, and como estás is asking how are you. So the currency of Spain is called euro, and the euro banknotes and coins were introduced in Spain on the 1st of January 2002, after a transitional period of 3 years when the euro was the official currency but only existed as a book money. So Spain is rich when it comes to culture and traditions. So just like us here in the Philippines, we also incorporated some of their cultures and traditions. So just like how Spanish greetings do. Like for example, acquaintances say hi to each other the first time when a handshake and keep it a smile. Also, the double kiss on the cheek is the signature of Spain. Latin America took this part of Spain culture and made its own. In many Latin American speaking countries, people greet each other with one kiss on the cheek. And lastly, as a Spanish way of greeting, most people will introduce themselves using only their first names. Each person has typically two first names and one last name they use. Older adults are introduced with prefixes Don and Doña or Mr. and Mrs. to show them more respect and formality. Part of Spain's culture and traditions is the La Siesta or nap time. So we are also all familiar about this because we have been through this since we way back when we are still a child, because most of our grandparents or our parents always told us to have a short nap during afternoon, like after we have lunch. So La Siesta, it is a short nap Spanish people take in the early afternoon, and the tradition has expanded to the Philippines and Mexico. During siesta time, the majority of businesses close. So they also have the New Year. So to celebrate New Year, people in Spain eat a grape for each month of the year for good luck. So we also have this because we believe that eating 12 grapes during New Year's Eve is will bring luck to the family or to you. Also is the superstition. So the Spanish are superstitious about the number 13. So we also incorporated that because we believe that number 13 is a bad omen to us, or it is something it can brought danger to us. So some Spanish people believe a hat on your bed is a bad omen also. So when a Spanish family moves to a new house, they need to buy a new broom. They believe bringing an old broom is a bad luck. So I don't know if you still practice this in your homes, but to us, we also incorporate this because of my grandmother. She always told us that, when you transfer to a new house, it is bad to bring the old broom because it will the old broom will swap all the good opportunities that will come to your new houses. Also have super traditions about gifts. So in Catalonia, children get gifts from a wooden log-looking character known as El Tío de Nadal. And in Spanish culture also, you are expected to bring a gift when you're invited to someone's house for dinner. So we don't incorporate this kind of culture because, here in the Philippines, if you are invited to a certain party, you are not the one who is supposed to bring something to the house where you are invited. But instead, the house who are hosting the event is the one who will provide you with foods and gifts. So religion is an essential element of Spanish. Almost every Spanish city has Catholic churches and cathedrals. The predominant religion in Spain is Catholicism, and the second largest religion of Spain is Islam due to recent arrivals of African and Middle Eastern refugees. There is also a large portion of atheists and a small percentage of Jewish people. So Catholic is Roman Catholic is one of the largest religion in Spain, which also we have adopted because Catholic is the bigger religion that we have here in the Philippines, which we also acquired from them during the Spanish colonial era. Aside from religion, the culture and traditions of Spain, they also have celebrations and festivals, which I can say also similar to what we celebrate during sometimes. So the first is they have the Semana Santa or Holy Week. So we are also familiar with this one because we do this during March or April, April during the year. So Semana Santa is one of the largest celebrations in Spain. The celebration of Semana Santa is an annual event that is celebrated throughout Spain. This is not just celebrated throughout Spain, but also here in the Philippines, right? We have Semana Santa, and essentially pays tribute to the passion of Jesus Christ. So we know that the 12 the Stations of the Cross, this one, like, right? Traditions are carried out by Catholic brotherhoods who perform penance processions through the streets in the week leading up to the Easter weekend. So we also have this, like what you call the penitencia, right? You are all familiar this one. Around Manila, there are some group of people or group of boys who do the penitencia, wherein they will have nails where they will use it as a whip, where they are going to to make hampas sa ilahalikod para as a way of showing penitensya during the Semana Santa. So Carnival is next. So Carnival takes advantage of inevitable climate in the Canary Islands and takes place towards the end of February and the beginning of March. Processions and a host of special traditions like the crowning of the Carnival Queen and the burial of the Sardine, or Entierro del Sardeno as it's known locally. This unique tradition involves a procession that parodies the funeral march and culminates in the burial of symbolic figure. represented by a large paper sardine. This is celebrated on Ash Wednesday and marks the farewell to life's pressures and the arrival of Lent. San Juan. Every year on the eve of the 23rd of June, Spain celebrates the arrival of summer and the birth of Saint John the Baptist. This cultural event is a spectacle that you cannot miss, thanks to a packed schedule which includes innermost bonfires, workshops, and ever-popular Correfoc. It means fire run and literally involves daring members of the public running through fireworks, dancing, and always ends in people taking a ceremonial bath in the ocean at midnight. San Juan embodies the true meaning of a Spanish summer festival and shows off a nation's ability to throw a party. To San Juan, we also have this here in the Philippines, just like what Spanish people do. They do this to celebrate the birth of Saint John the Baptist, as well as here in the Philippines. We have San Juan, which is celebrated also in June. We do this celebration to honor again the Saint John the Baptist. So during this time, this is what we call the Basa Basa festival here in our place or here in the Philippines. So we all know this one because I don't know if to your areas if you do this, but me, I grew up celebrating this kind of celebration in our area. The next is the Las Fallas in Valencia. So one of the world's most unique celebration is the Las Fallas in Valencia. It's also one of the noisiest thanks to 4 days of fireworks, bonfires, and parties taking place between the 15th to 19th of March. This super festival origins date back to the Middle Age when carpenters in the region would hang planks of wood called parots outside of their homes throughout the winter. Is the La Tomatina. One of the country's favorite summer festival is that of La Tomatina, known to many as the Tomato Throwing Festival. This rather messy celebration takes place in the small town of Buñol near Valencia. Held each year on the last Wednesday of August, this tiny town streets run red with tomato juice and the population of 9,000 people can as much as triple overnight. So that is La Tomatina, or what they call the Tomato Throwing Festival. Next is the El Dia de Reyes Magos, or Day of the Three Kings. So El Dia de Reyes Magos is widely celebrated across the country and is a favorite holiday for children. They receive gifts under colorful parades in the city where they celebrate their long-awaited arrival. So we also have this Day of Three Kings here in the Philippines, right? If I am not mistaken, because we celebrated it. So yes, we also have these celebrations here in our country. Next is the Los Toros de San Fermin, or the Running of the Bulls. The Running of the Bulls in Ciaro, or Los Toros de San Fermin, involves hundreds of people running in front of the 6 bulls and running 6 steers down an 825-meter stretch of narrow streets of a section of an old town of Pamplona. So this one is the Running of the Bulls, or I don't know, I am not quite familiar with this one, but they say that this one is very famous festival in Spain. Culture and traditions and celebrations and festival. Spain also have traditional clothing and fashion. So first is the El Traje Corto, or the short suit. It is a traditional clothing with short jackets combined with a white shirt and high-waisted trousers. It's usually worn by men with a Spanish sombrero or hat. So next is the La Mantilla, or the veil. It is a long lace or silk veil that covers women's head and shoulders. It was once a requirement to wear it before entering a church. So we are also familiar this one, because you can see people who serves as a lector or a cantor inside the church use this one. And also when you do communion, right, we do the la mantilla, or the veil, but we also call it in our area as velo. So this one also, we incorporated this from the Spaniards. We also have this kind of clothing in our place. Next is the Gillette, or the word Gillette comes from the Spanish word helico, or from the Arabic word yalca, or chalico in modern Spanish. It is a sleeveless jacket, much like a waistcoat or a vest, that forms an important part of traditional Spanish clothing. Historically, they were fitted and embroidered, and in the 19th century, the Gillette was a body shaped like a man waistcoat. Contemporary Gillettes are used for additional warmth outdoors. In the first edition of El Quixote in 1605, a diminutive of the world appeared Gilacuelo. The traje de flamenca. So the traje de flamenca or traje de gitana is the dress traditionally worn by women at ferias. So we know ferias, right? The feria that has different attractions for games like that or rides. That's feria, right, in our place, in Andalusia, Spain. There are two forms, one worn by dancers and other worn as day dress. So the day dress is body hugging to mid thigh and then continues in multiple layers of ruffles to the ankle. Modern interpretations of the style are difficult to walk in, let alone dance. The dancer's version therefore flares out from higher on the hip to allow freedom of movement. So this kind of clothing, we can see this during in our area, we can see this during Flores de Mayo. This is usually worn by Reina Justicia or the Queen of Justice, this kind of dress. Next is the la paineta or the comb. So in Spain and the rest of the Hispanic world, a paineta is a large decorative comb usually worn under a mantilla or lace head covering. The hair ornament worn by women consists of a convex body and a set of teeth that affects their hair worn in a bun. So we are also this kind of fashion also we incorporated it from the Spanish. We also have this in our country, just like my grandmother. So my Lola has this kind of comb. So growing up, she has been wearing this kind of comb like in everyday activities. So we all also have this. This is where the kind of fashion of putting comb in our hair is incorporated, like from the Spanish traditional clothing and fashion. It also has traditional music and dances. So some of the Spanish dances are Sandana from Catalonia, Maniera from Galicia, Fandango, Zambra from Andalusia, Juta from Valencia, Sevillana from Seville. And some of the Spanish music's genres vary according to region. We have the flamenco, the rumba, the catalana, and bolero, which are accompanied by string musical instrument and powerful dances. Modern and classical artists often mix flamenco and other traditional Spanish music with modern beats. So we are now on the Spanish traditional foods. So first is the las tapas. So are you all familiar with las tapas? Well, no, me, I am not familiar with it. So let us know what is las tapas. So las tapas is a Spanish kind of appetizer and snack known as tapas. Las tapas are usually a mix of small preparation like cold cuts, cheeses, croquetas or crickets, calamares or squid, and more. So that is las tapas. So next is the pidiyua. So pidiyua is a seafood paella style plate with noodles instead of rice. So fideuà is a traditional dish similar in style to paella but made with short spaghetti-like pasta called fideos. Its base is a wonderful mix of fish stock and a smooth tomato pepper sauce that the pasta soaks up as it cooks, taking of all the deliciousness, then it's crowned with fish and seafood. So this is a unique dish, traditional dish of Spanish, because instead of having pasta, instead of having pasta or a plate of rice, instead of rice, they use noodles inside the dish or around the dish. So now we're next is hamon. So hamon is curated ham from the Iberian Peninsula, so the artisanal ham of Spain. Hamon is the heart of Spanish culture and cuisine. While Spain's regions vary in their local food traditions, cured Serrano and Iberico hams are treasured from coast to coast, from the markets of Barcelona to the bars of Galicia and everywhere in between. So that is hamon, which we also have here in the Philippines, right? Next is the fabada. So pavada is a type of bean stew. So fabada asturiana, often simply known as fabada, is a rich Asturian bean stew, originally from and most commonly found in the autonomous community of Principality of Asturias. But it is widely available throughout the whole Spain and in Spanish restaurants worldwide. So it is not hard to find and taste fabada because it is available throughout the whole area of Spain and in some other Spanish restaurants worldwide. So next is patatas bravas. Patatas bravas is a deep fried potatoes with a spicy sauce. Patatas bravas, also called patatas a la brava or papas bravas, also meaning spicy potatoes, is a dish native to Spain. It typically consists of white potatoes that have been cut into 2 cm wide cubes, then fried in oil and served warm with a spicy sauce. So patatas bravas. So in short, this is a spicy potato. So this is good for people who likes to taste or who loves to eat spicy foods. Next is the gazpacho, also called the Andalusian gazpacho, is a cold soup and drink made of raw, blended vegetables. It originated in the southern regions of the Iberian Peninsula and spread into the other areas. Gazpacho is widely eaten in Spain and Portugal, particularly during hot summer since it's refreshing and cold. Lastly is the churros. Churros are simply a type of fried dough made of flour, water, and salt. Churros are especially popular in Spain where they are a part of the local breakfast and snack culture. So after knowing all the traditional food dishes of Spain, we are down to the top 16 attractions in Spain. So to be honest, there are a lot of attractions in Spain, but I only choose 16 attractions which are very well known to most of the tourists who visited the area. So first, let's start with the Alhambra and General Life Gardens, which is located in Granada, Spain. So the Nasrid Dynasty's royal palace is the artistic highlight of Spain's Islamic period, when Al-Andalus, as they called Andalusia, represented the epitome of culture and civilization in medieval Europe. So the Alhambra complex includes several buildings, towers, walls, gardens, and mosque. But it's the indescribably intricate stone carvings, the delicate filigrees, the magnificent tile-lined ceilings, the graceful arches, and serene courtyards of the Nasrid Palace will haunt your dreams. So that is the Alhambra and the General Life Gardens. It is one of the symbolizations or the highlights of Spain's Hispanic period. Next is the Barcelona Sagrada Familia. Basilica de la Sagrada Familia, officially known as the Temple Expiatory de la Sagrada Familia or the Holy Family Church of the Atonement, one of Europe's most unconventional churches. It is also unfinished. As you look down from its tower, you can see the work in progress below. So this attraction in Spain has been included in the movie of Catherine Bernardo and Alden Richards, Hello, Love, Goodbye, right? If you've seen that movie, you can see that you can see the beautiful infrastructure of Sagrada Familia. But to add for your information also, this Sagrada Familia is also not finished, not up until now. It is believed they also believe that the reason why Sagrada Familia is not finished because the builder fall in love. So which is why Sagrada Familia is not yet finished until now. The Great Mosque of Cordoba. So Cordoba, or this is also known as the La Mezquita. So once the principal mosque of Western Islam and still known as La Mezquita, Cordoba's Great Mosque is one of the largest in the world and the finest achievement of Moorish architecture in Spain. In spite of later alterations that carve out its center to build a Catholic cathedral in its heart. At the Great Mosque ranks with the Alhambra and the Granada as one of the two most splendid examples of Islamic art and architecture in Western Europe. The Prado and Paseo del Artes, which is located in Madrid. So the Prado has the world's largest collection of Spanish arts, an impressive continuum of the 12th century medieval works through the avant-garde movement of the early 20th century, and is especially noted for its work from Spain's golden age by El Greco, Velázquez, and Goya. Next is the San Lorenzo de El Escorial. So the San Lorenzo de El Escorial, about 440 kilometers northwest of Madrid, was the summer home of Spain's kings, and in 1563 work was begun here on a huge complex which could include a monastery, a church, a royal palace, a mausoleum, library, and museum, all conceived as a monument to Philip II and his reign. So next is the Seville Cathedral and Alcazar. So the Cathedral of Seville has more interior space than St. Peter's in Rome, and a 37-meter main altar of carved statues completely covered in gold. So the monumental tomb to Christopher Columbus is held aloof by a quartet of larger than life figures. So wow, this one is really big, right? Kay, this is because the St. Peter's in Rome is already a big and cathedral, but this one is way bigger than that. So how about when you see this in person, right? This is so amazing. Next is the Guggenheim Museum, which can also be found rather in Bilbao. So the Guggenheim Museum was created by American architect Frank Gehry, where he used blocks of limestones and undulating sheets of titanium to turn the notion of modern architecture on its ear. The Bilbao effect, or the ability of a city to turn its fortunes around by constructing a single world-class building and architecture. So a whole segment of the travel industry revolving around landmarks of contemporary architecture. So that's Guggenheim Museum, which is made from limestone and undulating sheets of titanium. So next is the Santiago de Compostela Cathedral. The magnificent Cathedral of Santiago, or St. James in Santiago de Compostela, was built to house and honor the relics of the saint, and it has been the ultimate destination of pilgrims since the Middle Ages. One of the outstanding monuments of early Romanesque architecture, and the cathedral was built between 1060 and 1211, and despite the Baroque transformation of the interior in 16th to 18th centuries, the interior is still in the purest early Romanesque style. So the Plaza Mayor, which can be found in Madrid. So the throbbing heartbeat of Spain's vibrant capital city. So Plaza Mayor has played an important part in Madrid's everyday life since the 16th century, when Philip II entrusted the task of designing it to his favorite architect Juan de Herrera, builder of San Lorenzo de El Escorial. Today, it is one of the top cultural attractions in Madrid. The Plaza Mayor has for centuries served as the stage of ceremonial events, the proclamation of new kings, the canonizations of saints, the burning of heretics, and public entertainment such as Calvaric tournaments and bullfights. Next is the Plaza de España and Parque de Maria Luisa, which can be found in Seville. Built for the Ibero-American Exposition of 1929 to celebrate the various regions of Spain, the Plaza de España is an impressive semicircular pavilion surrounded by colonnades. So beautiful panels of colorful decorative styles representing each of Spain's provinces are set overlooking the long pool, which is crossed by the bridges, and it is a popular place to visit for a stroll or to row a rental boat around the pool and under the bridges. So the Plaza de España is the focal point of vast Parque de Maria Luisa. It is a half mile of gardens, lawns, and shaded walks stretching alongside the river opposite Central Seville. Next is the Ciudad de las Artes y las Ciencias, which can be found in Valencia. So there are a lot of attractions, that as I've mentioned earlier, that can be found in Valencia as well. So when Valencia diverted the course of the river that had repeatedly flooded the city, it was left with a broad, flat riverbed spanned by bridges. It was upon this clean palais that the brilliant Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava created a breathtaking ensemble of structures that have become a magnet for aficionados of contemporary architecture. Next is also the beaches of Gran Canaria. So aside from beautiful architecture, Spain also have beautiful beaches. So one of it is the beaches of Gran Canaria. So the largest of the Canary Islands, Gran Canaria is best known for the golden sand beaches that line most of its southern coast. Playa de las Cartiras is the capital city of Las Palmas, popular with families for its calm waters, protected by a natural breakwater of volcanic rock. The water is relatively warm on this coast and so clear that it is popular with divers. Next is La Rambla, which can be found in Barcelona, Spain. So this is a three-line boulevard that cuts a green line, not a very straight one, through the city center, stretching northwest from the Columbus Memorial near the port. So the section to the Plaza de Catalunya is lined with plane trees. Its wide pedestrian zone flanked by a narrow road on each side along with its flower and birds markets. So La Rambla has a number of book and newspaper stands as well as restaurants and cafe with open air tables. So pavement artists, street musicians, living statues, and impromptu performers all add to its lively atmosphere. So one of the highlights of La Rambla is the Mercat de la Borquilla, or a traditional covered marketplace that sells fresh produce, meat, fish, bread, cheese, and other specialty foods of Spain. Next is El Tede, which is the highest peak in Spain. This ancient but still simmering volcano is also one of Europe's top natural wonders. The Pico del Tede and the Caldera de las Cañadas, a gigantic volcanic crater, together form the Parque Nacional del Tede, at the center of the island of Tenerife. In listing the park in 2007, the UNESCO cited its natural beauty and is important in providing evidence of the geological processes that underpin the evolution of oceanic islands. Next is Toledo City, Toledo's old city. So the layout of the town, which is a regular pattern of narrow streets and numerous blind alleys, reflects its Moorish past, and the architecture of Christian period is represented by the numerous churches, convents, and hospices. This make the Casco Histórico, or Old Town, a kind of open-air museum illustrating the history of Spain and has been listed by UNESCO as part of mankind's cultural heritage. Lastly is the White Towns of Andalusia. This is poised like doves of white frosting atop the steep crags of southern Andalusia. The white towns, or the pueblos blancos, are not just beautiful, but they speak of this region's long and fascinating history. So west of the Gibraltar Mountains rise straight from the sea, and among them hide these hilltop whitewashed towns. And that's it for our tour around Spain. Gracias por escuchar. This is LG Dibdib Pobadora.